Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Bahum piche sahitam bhasamano natakaro hoti naropamatto gopova gavo ganayam paresang nabhagava samanyassa hoti. Apambije sahitam bhasamano Dhammassa hoti anudhammachari ragancha dosancha pahaya mohang anupadhyano idavahurang va sabhagava samanyassa hoti. Venerable Chief Reverend, Venerable Sirs, friends and children in the Dhamma, welcome for our Saturday regular Dhamma talk. Today we are continuing the twin verses, the first chapter of the Dhammapada, and we have approached to the final or the last two verses of the first chapter. In this chapter, Buddha is introducing his true disciple, his authentic disciple, who in an actual journey on what the Buddha taught, who is getting the benefit out of the words of the teacher. So, in comparison with the two individuals, Buddha introduced very clearly the real or the authentic follower or the student of the Buddha. Now, Buddha's teaching is compared to a prescription, a doctor's prescription. Now, when a doctor gives you a prescription, it means what you have to do is you have to go to a pharmacy, buy the medicine, buy those prescribed medicines, and take them as they are being instructed, accordance with the instructions. This is what you're supposed to do with the prescription. But if you happen to just read the prescription again and again, or just put this prescription on an altar, morning and evening, you chant them, you read them, do offerings to this prescription, your sickness won't get cured. Your sickness will prevail. No changes, no transformations, nothing would happen. The prescription is not something that is for mere respect, veneration. If you have the respect, if you have the trust on the doctor, what you have to do is, you have to take the medicine accordingly. reading the prescription, worshipping the prescription, paying homage to the prescription won't help you, won't help your liberation. So Buddha's teaching is like a prescription given by a doctor. And Buddha himself said clearly that he is a doctor. I cure your eyes, then you see the light. Explaining to you about light while you are blind won't help, won't do anything to you. My explanation of the light while you are still a blind man would cause just philosophies. You will philosophize it. You will create arguments on it. You will write books on it. But you will never see the light. So, let me do my job. Let me cure your eyes. Then, there is no need for me to explain to you what light is. What light is won't matter anymore because you see the light. Buddha is a doctor, a physician who cures our eyes. So his words are to cure our ignorance, to cure our delusion, and to open our wisdom. That's his original purpose of teaching the Dhamma. It is to transform ourselves, to change ourselves, and to liberate ourselves. Buddha's words also compared to a key of a door. We are stuck in a cell. We are imprisoned in a room. And we are praying that may somebody come and help us to be liberated from this cell, from this prison. Buddha comes in and he gives us the key. What we are doing is we start worshipping the key. We start offering all sorts of external pujas, the offerings to the key. We keep them on an altar. And we pay our homage to it. We chant in front of the key. We do offerings to the key. The door will never open. For the door to be opened, we have to get up, go to the door, put the key in the hall and turn it. We have to be diligent. We have to be active on it. We have to work on it. The key is there for our liberation. The work we have to do. The work is our duty. The key itself will not open the door. We think the key will open the door. Key will never open the door unless we put in it and turn it and push the door. Buddha's teaching is just like that key. Buddha's teaching is pointing a finger pointing the moon. Instead of looking at the beauty of that full moon. We are arguing about the finger that it is that pointing the moon. We are watching at the finger. We are talking about the finger. We are discussing about it, but we are not looking at the moon. Talking about the finger, praying, doing offerings to that finger won't help us to see the moon. Arouse our wisdom to see the moon. Buddha is pointing at it. It is for us to see, to watch what he is pointing at. That's what has happened to the Buddha's teaching today. He has given us a key. Instead of opening the door, we are doing offerings for it. We are reading about it. We are arguing about it. What kind of metal has been used to make this key? That is our argument. The real purpose of the key is lost. Everybody has forgotten about it. So nobody is liberated. Everybody is imprisoned. Buddha's prescription, the purpose is forgotten. We are still sick within. We are still sick with greed, hatred, delusion, because we are just reading the prescription. We never went to the pharmacy. We never put any effort to go to the pharmacy, get the medicine, swallow it, practice accordingly. So how can we ever be cured? Cure happens with the practice. Therefore, who will be praised by the Buddha? Who will be praised, complimented, accepted by the Buddha as someone who really follow what he says? Not the one who read the prescription, but the one who take medicine in accordance with that prescription. Not the one who prays, do offerings for the key, but the one who opens the door and get out of the prison. Not the one who discuss about the finger, but the one who looks at the moon and enjoy the beauty of it. This is the one that the Buddha compliments. This is the one that the Buddha considers as his son, as someone who authentic disciple, follower of the Buddha. There were two friends during the Buddha's times. One was an elderly one. The other one was quite young. In Sravati, when the Buddha is in the town, they went to see the Buddha for the purpose of listening what he says. When they were listening to the teaching, they understood that what they were living at home in the city was not meant for them. Monastic life was what they want, and they discarded their household lives, went to the temple and sought monastic life, sought Buddha and the elders to ordain them. They were ordained. For 5 years they were trained. The basic monastic rules and regulations, the principles, the art of living. And after 5 years, they went to the teacher and asked them, what kind of system are we to follow? Then the teacher said, you can either follow the learning of the Dhamma. You can become a learner of the Dhamma, learning Dhamma and by hearting them, keeping them in the memory and transmitting to the other generation. Or you can become a vipassana meditator. You can be fully committed to vipassana, to meditation. Elderly monk, he said, I am old. I don't have time to commit for learning, by hearting, memorizing and teaching the Dhamma. Meditation is what is suitable for. So let me meditate. Please give me the instructions for meditation. Then the teacher gave the meditation instructions until the enlightenment. Once he got the instructions, he went to the forest and started meditating. Years passed by. Ultimately, he got enlightened with other psychological, spiritual powers. He got enlightened. After the enlightenment, he was assisting the newly ordained monks who were in the interest of meditating. For their enlightenment, already enlightened disciple of Buddha, this elderly monk was assisting them. 500 monks got enlightened, being assisted, instructed by this elderly monk. After their enlightenment, these monks told their senior that they are interested in going to see the Buddha and the other great disciples of Buddha in Jetavana monastery. This elder approved it. He said, yeah, it is suitable for you to do that. Please do so. And when you go there, also pay respect, pay homage to Buddha in my name. And in any case, if you happen to meet my friend who ordained together with me, if you happen to meet my friend in Jetavana monastery, pay homage to him in my name also. And these 500 monks went to Jetavana monastery. They met the Lord Buddha, paid homage to him. They met 80 great disciples and pay homage to them also. And finally they met the friend of their teacher, the young monk, who was studying, and now he has completed his studies of the Dhamma. He has by-hearted many suttas, many teachings of the Buddha. And now he has become a teacher and he has been teaching to many other young monks. He has become a teacher now. When they met this young monk, they introduced themselves that they are the disciples of a senior monk who is in the forest And he is their teacher, and he has told them to pay respect to his friend. Then this monk, who is a teacher, asked them the questions, what kind of Dhamma your teacher taught you? What are the suttas did you by heart? What are the stanzas did you by heart? What kind of Dhamma he taught to you all? Then these 500 monks said, he did not teach us any Dhamma, any sutta. We haven't by hearted even a single sutta, even a single stanza. Then this monk thought, what a waste of time. And how come he could say that he is your teacher while he couldn't even teach you a single sutta? Then this monk thought, okay, I will have a discussion when I meet my friend, that old monk. When I meet him, it is better for me to have a discussion on the Dhamma. And it so happened, years passed by, this senior monk happened to came to Jetavana monastery. He came to Jetavana monasteries to see the Buddha. And his friend, the one who was by hearting, memorizing the Dhamma, but not practicing, he was in the temple. And when this senior Arahant, enlightened disciple of the Buddha, came to see this young monk, his former friend, this young monk being seated in at a seat on the same level of the Arahant, thought of questioning this Arahant and humiliate him. He was preparing himself to humiliate this Arahant, and Buddha saw this. Humiliating an Arahant purposefully can be an unwholesome deed, a severe unwholesome deed. So for the sake of helping this young monk to stop generating unwholesome energy in the pretext of walking in the monastery, Buddha came to the hut, small kuti, small room where these two monks are discussing. Buddha came to them and asked them what were they doing. When they said that they are getting ready to discuss on the Dhamma, Buddha said, okay, let me join in with your discussion. And Buddha asked questions on the Dhamma, which are basics, which are to be memorized by those junior monks who are into the memorizing of the Dhamma. He asked about the jhanas. What are the factors of the jhana? What are the divine realms when you are developed jhana? When you have developed jhana, what are the divine realms, divine Brahma realms that you can be born? The junior monk, who was the Dhamma learner, he answered them perfectly. And then Buddha asked about the first stage of conversion, the stream entry. What is the practice for this stream entry? what kind of experience you receive as you attain to the stream entry? Then this young monk couldn't answer. Then this bookish, then this learner who sacrificed just for learning couldn't answer. Only the enlightened monk, he was capable of answering very clearly to the Buddha's question. Buddha was so pleased. He said, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. He was so happy. When the Buddha said sadhu, everybody, those who gathered there, started saying sadhu, sadhu. Then again Buddha asked about this second stage of supramundane, which is the one's return. Again the learner who was just learning the Dhamma couldn't answer. But the enlightened disciple who have already walked on that part of the Dhamma, who have already experienced that part of the Dhamma, which is the second stage, he has already passed it. He answered it very clearly. Then the Buddha said again, sadhu, sadhu. Even divine beings started saying sadhu after the Buddha. Again for the third time also Buddha did the same thing. The disciples of the learner, disciples of the monk who was just learning the Dhamma, was not happy. Our teacher answered his questions well, but the Buddha never said sadhu. But this elderly monk who doesn't know much Dhamma, when he answered, Buddha said sadhu. Why is that? What happened? And they were discussing. Then the Buddha said, if you are to count the sheep of others or the cows of others, you may count, okay, he has 8 sheep, he has 10 sheep, 10 cows, he has 20 cows. You are counting others' cows. You are mere a shepherd, looking after others' cows. You are not getting anything, because those cows are not yours. Taking care of the cows belong to others won't give you the benefits from the cows. There are 5 benefits that a human being can gain from a cow, beginning with milk, yogurt, and so on. That there are 5 benefits. But the shepherd won't get anything. Don't be a shepherd for my religion, Buddha says. Because you won't get anything ultimately. Be the owner of this Dhamma. And how to own this Dhamma? By practicing it, not by learning it. Not just by learning it. Learning helps. You should learn Dhamma. But don't keep it just as something learning. You have to activate in your life. You have to make it part of your life. You have to transform by it. You have to meditate it. You have to meditate. This Dhamma is born out of meditation. This Dhamma is a byproduct of meditation. This Dhamma is a result of reaching the Bodhisattvas, reaching to the pinnacle of meditation. to the Everest of meditation. This is a byproduct. This is the result of his reach to the summit of meditation. And activating Dhamma is totally based on meditation. Learn the Dhamma and meditate. If you just keep yourself for learning, you are just stuffing the Dhamma within you. Your ego will rise. See, that young monk tried to humiliate an arahant. Such a ego. He has never become humble by that Dhamma because he was just learning. There are people even today, in everywhere, they like to learn Dhamma, but their purpose is just to gather knowledge for their arguments, to fulfill their ego, to learn about this Dhamma, to fulfill the interest of their curiosity. They are not interested in meditation. If you are not interested in meditation, if you are not putting your effort in meditation, this Dhamma will never change you, never transform you. So Buddha says, it doesn't matter whether you learn all the teachings of Buddha. All the teachings he gave for 45 years are recorded because those disciples who were close to Buddha by-hearted whatever the Buddha said. They by-hearted, kept in their memory and transmitted that memory into the next generation. Generation after generation they transmitted, by-hearted and transmitted, and eventually they were written. And now they are available to us. But we have to keep in mind, when Buddha teaches Dhamma, he always looks at the audience in accordance with the knowledge, social background, religious background, educational background, environmental background. Buddha makes twists and turns and make it suitable for the audience. Buddha swoops down to their level and elevate them from their level. Elevate them to a higher level. First he reached to their level. That's why many suttas are there. Many kinds of different way of analyzing we can find in the suttas. This is the reason. But ultimately this Dhamma is guiding us for our transformation from the mundane to supramundane, from the world to the beyond, from the misery to joy, to happiness. We learn this Dhamma and we must try to activate this Dhamma in silence. In silence, in meditation. Then what we learn become part of our Dhamma. What we heard is not just stuffing us, but transforming us. If we don't do that, we are just counting, okay? I know this much of Dhamma. Counting. Just counting. We won't get anything by that counting. So Buddha basically says, don't be a shepherd. Be the owner of the cattle, not the shepherd who take care of the cattle and get a wage, get a salary because of it. Owner gets the benefit. That's what Buddha basically says. Now the stanzas. The first stanza. Bahum piche sahitang bhasamano na takkaro hoti naropamatto gopova gavo ganayang paresang na bhagava samanyasa hoti. If one, though reciting much text, is not a doer thereof, a heedless man, he, like a cowherd, counting others' cows, is not a protector, is not a partaker in the religious quest. He is a shepherd. And then Buddha introduced his real follower, the disciple. He says, Apampiche sahitang bhasamano. If one, though reciting a little of text, Dhammasahoti anudhammachari, lives a life in accord with the Dhamma. Ragancha dosancha pahaya mohang, having discarded passion, ill will, and ignorance. Sammappajano suvimutta chitto. Sammappajano, knowing fully and well. Suvimutta chitto, the mind well freed. Anupadiyano idavahurangva. He is not grasping here. Anupadiyano idavahurangva, here or hereafter. Sabhagava samanyasa hoti. He is a partaker of the religious quest. The purpose of practicing the Dhamma here is presented with simple words. He says, discarding raga, dosa, moha. Raga, passion. Craving, attachment, greed, all represented by this raga. From the grave, extensive attachment to a subtle passion, everything included with the term raga. Passion is to be discarded. Passion for what? Passion for higher status, passion for sensual pleasures, passion for wealth, money, properties, everything. Everything belongs to the world. If you have an attachment, it is represented with the raga. Dosa is the anger, hatred, ill will, enmity that arise when your passions are not fulfilled, when you are deprived of fulfilling your sense desires, sense pleasures, higher status, worldly goals are deprived, are not fulfilled, then the anger arises. Anger is a byproduct of being deprived of the fulfilling of passions. Dosa. Raga and dosa both arise because of the ignorance, because of the unawareness of the truth, because we are blind to the truth. Passion arise, anger arise, attachment arise, hatred arise, craving arise, ill will arise, because we don't see the reality as it is. We don't see how impermanent the world is, how momentary, how changing moment to moment is the world. We never see that. And trying to grasp what is momentary causes suffering we never see. If it is momentary and causes misery, how can we ever say, this is mine? How can we ever try to possess them? This is our ignorance. Due to the ignorance that we don't see that it is impermanent, we see them as permanent, everlasting, eternal. We never see them as misery. This is our ignorance. And due to that ignorance, we generate desires, we generate attachments. And when the desires are not fulfilled, we are in anger, hatred, ill will. Enlightened person is someone who has awakened from his slumber, from his sleep of ignorance, who has seen the truth as it is. And therefore he has no attachment to the temporary, momentary, worldly phenomena. Since he has no attachment to the worldly phenomena, there is no reason for him to generate any kind of anger or ill will towards the world. Ragancha dosancha pahaya moham. He has got rid of all this raga, dosa, moha, greed, hatred, delusion. Sammappajano. He has cleared his vision on the world. With that the wisdom has arisen him. It is not knowledge. Knowledge is about borrowing. We borrow others' knowledge. It helps to live in this world. It helps us to be efficient. You are to be an efficient worker because you have knowledge. It helps. But it is not wisdom. The wisdom is to see, to conceive, to comprehend this present moment as it is. One who comprehends the present moment as it is, Sammappajano, Buddha's disciple. Suvimutta Chitto, his mind is fully liberated, totally liberated from these passions, from the anger, from ignorance. Suvimutta Chitto. Anupadhyano, he is not grasping anything. He is living moment to moment. He doesn't grasp the past moment and go to the present moment, go to the future moments. No. He lives in the present moment. He let go of that moment when it is in the past. He doesn't dream about the next moment. When the next moment comes, he lives it and go to the next moment. such a beautiful life. He doesn't grasp anything. It is walking on the clouds. It is walking. It is a walk without leaving any footprints behind. It is just going, just coming and going. Nothing left behind. Anupadhyano. Doesn't grasp anything. Here or hereafter. This is the student. This is the son of the Buddha who followed what the Buddha taught. Such beautiful two stanzas. It is up to us to become a son of the Buddha or a shepherd for the Buddha. If you are a shepherd, you just count the knowledge that you got. This much I know. But if you are a son of the Buddha, you will use that knowledge for the transformation of yours, for the change of yours. That's what Buddha says here. It doesn't matter how much you know. What matters is whether you activate the much you know practically in your life. Whether you approach practically to what you learnt is what matters. That's what is expressing in these two stanzas. Let me recite this again. Bahumpiche sahitang bhasamano natakkaro hoti naropamatto gopova gavo ganayang paresang nabhagava samanyasa hoti. If one, though reciting much text, is not a doer thereof, a heedless man, he, like a cowherd, counting others' cows, is not a partaker in the religious quest. If one, though reciting little of text, appam piche sahitang bhasamano, lives a life in accord with the Dhamma, Dhammasya hoti anudhammachari, having discarded passion, ill will and ignorance, ragancha dosancha pahaya moham, knowing fully and well, the mind well freed, sammapajano suvimutta chitto, he is not grasping here, neither hereafter, anupadhyano idhava hurangva, is a partaker of the religious quest, sabhagava samanyasa hoti. This is the eternal law. Thank you very much for listening. Let's share this Dhamma together with our departed ones and the divine beings. May all the devas be rejoiced with our merits. May their protection, may their guidance be with you all, be with you and the ones who are near and dear to you. May they all be protected, guided by the divine beings. May the devas be rejoiced with these merits. May all our departed ones, our ancestors, forefathers, known and unknown, be rejoiced with our merits. May their present existences become blissful, happy and peaceful by the power of these merits. Let's share these merits together with Devas and the departed ones. Akasatta cha bummatta devanaga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu loka sasanang. Akasatta cha bummatta devanaga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu desanang. Akasatta cha bummatta devanaga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu mam paranti. Idang me jnatinang hotu sukhita hontu jnatayo. Idang me jnatinang hotu sukhita hontu jnatayo. Idam me jnatinang hotu sukhita hontu jnatayo. Blessings to you all. Dukkha roga bhaya vera sokha sabbe upaddava anekāntarāya pi vinassantu ca tejasa jaya siddhi dhanang labhang sotti bhagyam sukham balang siriyayu ca vanno ca bhogang buddhi ca yasava satavassa jayu ca jiva siddhi bhavantu te ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti iminate samijjatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Good night, everybody.